Good afternoon. Please be seated. I am Dr. Patricia O'Connell-Killen, Academic Vice President for Gonzaga University, and I am delighted to welcome you to the university's 122nd commencement. On behalf of the university, I extend a special welcome to family and friends of our graduates, many of whom have traveled great distances to join in this public celebration of our students' achievements. This is a day to celebrate. Commencement is the annual occasion at which the university recognizes the successful completion of years of study by our students and the beginning of a new stage in their lives. It is also an occasion when we recognize individuals who embody the values and commitments of the university. In doing both, we continue the nearly 500-year-old and still vital project of Jesuit Catholic humanistic education. In that tradition, Gonzaga has welcomed, educated, and conferred degrees upon thousands of students. We are very proud to have been with each of you on this part of your educational journey and to celebrate this milestone. At this time, I ask that you please stand and join the Big Bing Theory, Gonzaga's own undergraduate a cappella group, in singing of the United States National Anthem, followed by the Canadian National Anthem. I then ask that you remain standing for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our
It is now my privilege to introduce Sister Laura Michaels of the Sisters of the Holy Names of Jesus and Mary, a coordinator in Gonzaga University Ministries, who will give our invocation.
On special occasions, such as this gratitude commencement, it is good to ground ourselves in basic truths, to remember who we are and why we do what we do. This afternoon, we do this in prayer as we begin this joyful time together. Jesus told us this short parable, which we read in the Gospel of St. Matthew. The kingdom of heaven is like a dealer in search of fine and precious pearls. On finding a single pearl of great price, he went and sold all that he had and bought it. Loving God, our graduates here began a search for their pearl of great price some years ago as they began their graduate studies. You have been their guide in the search. You have given them your strength and wisdom every time they ask themselves why they are willing to give up so much to find this treasure. The times when these graduates experienced apprehension or anxiety, it was you who helped them keep their eyes on that treasure, on that pearl. You have been their rock, whose steadfast love is without end. Generous God, you know each one through and through. You have been a faithful guide through all the blessings and challenges of our graduates. So now we celebrate who they are and all that they have accomplished to reach this day. Through their sacrifices and their perseverance, they bring glory and honor to you, our loving and faithful God. And this we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Thank you, Sister Laura. Please be seated. Dr. Thane McCullough is Gonzaga University's 26th president. A social psychologist by discipline, he received his bachelor's degree from Gonzaga and his Doctor of Philosophy degree from Oxford University. Dr. McCullough has served Gonzaga in numerous positions since he first joined the university professionally more than 2 decades ago. He brings to his work as president extensive knowledge of the institution as an organization and a deep appreciation of and passion for its mission of providing excellent education that challenges students to achieve their fullest potential. Dr. McCullough is a nationally recognized leader in Jesuit higher education. Please welcome Gonzaga University President, Dr. Thane McCullough.
Dr. Killen, our honored speaker, Blaine Harden, vice presidents, members of the faculty, honored family members, and special guests, but especially you, the graduates of Gonzaga University's class of 2015. It is a real privilege to be with you this afternoon. Before we begin your well-deserved celebrations, however, let us take a moment to remember and to celebrate those who have been mom for us In honor of all moms, I would like to ask that all of the mothers here today please rise and let us recognize you on this Mother's Day weekend. Today is a day for reflection, for expressing our gratitude, and for celebrating success. Today, graduates of the class of 2015, we recognize the remarkable effort and commitment that has led to the granting of your master's or doctoral degree. Your degree today is conferred upon you by a Jesuit university, an educational institution based in a tradition of learning, now more than 450 years in the making. A tradition that has relied upon the importance of reflection as an essential element of true learning. So, let us reflect together on the meaning of this moment. Some of you entered your graduate program immediately following your undergraduate work, but many of you, perhaps most of you, pursued graduate degrees having first spent time entering the professions and gaining hands-on practical experience. Many of you here today are accompanied by spouses, daughters, or sons, and extended family, all of whom have also come to celebrate your accomplishment. They know better than most what sacrifices you have made to get to this point in your life and career. As you just heard in Dr. Killen's introduction of me, my doctorate is from Oxford University, which in part explains my snappy Transylvanian academic attire. Oxford lays claim to being the oldest English-speaking university in the world. And I do admit that the prospect of studying in a place where one could rub elbows with Rhodes Scholars or sip tea with great minds and daily walk past the very place where Robert Hooke first observed and named the biological structure cell was at first intoxicating. At the same time, I cannot deny that I look back on my graduate school experience as one of the most trying periods of my adult life. Acknowledging the practical reality that I was pursuing my graduate studies in a foreign country, I clearly remember the frustrations which came with the constant juggling of time for my studies and research with the demands of family, the disorienting cultural differences that made routine seem unattainable, and the need to work to make ends meet. While the details may be different for you, I have no doubt that you have experienced similar struggles, frustrations, and moments of experienced failure on the path of your own lives and educational journeys. Of course, this experienced reality not only makes today's accomplishment a sweeter celebration, but it underscores the point that achievement is measured in no small part by the nature of the adversity one has endured along the way. Indeed, if your education at Gonzaga has been truly successful, you now understand at a deep level that learning often emerges from situations and opportunities we might least expect. In fact, I am certain the application of your learning in your personal, professional, and communal lives will be most fruitfully applied in the least predictable occasions, times, and places. Graduations mark transitions, and that means change. And change is often associated with fear and anxiety. But transitions, graduations, are at their heart also about hope. You, our graduates, go forth today with the unquenchable hope that emerges from the practical tools that make you competent and capable, the innovative thoughts that will solve real problems, and the human and humane values that will sustain you in times of trial. The Jesuit concept of the magis, the even more, that which makes things add up to more than the sum of their parts, exists only in the context of hope. Because without it, doing more, being more, creating more is simply not achievable. The Jesuit tradition insists that we be a people of hope, bringers of hope to a flawed world. Hope is what makes imagining a better future possible. You, our graduates, are the ones who will define the future we will all experience and share. And so on this spring day, you fill us with hope. And that alone is worthy of celebration. As you go forth to whatever choice or opportunity you have next defined for yourself, I hope that you carry these thoughts with you. In your dreams and aspirations, you carry the hopes and dreams of this university. We will miss you, but we look forward to celebrating your many achievements to come with you. Without question, you each will find opportunities for success and achievement in your future work. Take time to nourish your heart and your faith along the way. Wherever you go in this life and whatever good works you choose to pursue, know surely that God's Holy Spirit is upon you now and will remain with you forever. You have been a gift to us. You inspire us, and we are grateful to have been with you on this part of your journey. It is my honor to serve as your president, for it allows me this day, on behalf of the entire Gonzaga University community, to wish you all the best and Godspeed. Congratulations, class of 2015.
It is now my honor to invite Blaine Harden to join Dr. McCullough at the center of the stage while I read a portion of the citation for his honorary degree. Mr. Harden is receiving an honorary Doctor of Letters degree, and he will be giving today's commencement address. Blaine Harden grew up within a few hours of Gonzaga, near the Columbia River. But his career with the top American newspapers made him fluent in far-flung places. Fueled by a visceral sense of cruelty active in the world, Harden has written of famine, communism, wars, geopolitics, environmentalism, and politics, making world history accessible and human rights issues real to the American people. Blaine's artful writing shares the stories of individuals struggling with complex problems everywhere in the world. His most recent books are about North Korea. He brings a forgotten war to life and explains how the political system there continues to oppress its own people and to endanger the world through telling the stories of a young North Korean pilot who defected to the United States by stealing a MiG-15 fighter jet, and a young man bred to be a slave in a concentration camp who escaped to the West. for celebrating human values alive around the world while shining a light on existing dystopia, and for pressing for human rights improvements, Gonzaga University proudly confers upon Blaine Hardin the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Thank you so much. This is a very moving honor. When I graduated from Gonzaga, I desperately wanted to speak at commencement. I aggressively sought out the honor of delivering what was then called the senior response. At the time, the speaker was chosen by popular vote of the senior class. I figured then that I was the obvious best choice. As editor-in-chief of the Gonzaga Bulletin during my senior year, I was very impressed with myself. I was particularly pleased by the signed editorials that I had written. In those editorials, I offered sage advice to my classmates on how to behave. I instructed them on how to solve the moral and political dilemmas of the mid-1970s. Most of my classmates, of course, had not bothered to read my editorials. Many others had apparently read them, found them to be fatuous nonsense, and dreaded the prospect of having to listen to more from me on graduation day. In any case, they voted overwhelmingly for a speaker whose name was not Blaine Hardin. The speaker they chose was Windsor Viney, who I believe is a Canadian. And has since become an academic who teaches Buddhism. As it turned out, democracy worked very well. My classmates made an excellent choice. Windsor Viney's speech was a masterpiece, brainy, irreverent, and funny. Its greatest quality was brevity. I barely had time to hate him before his speech was over. Then the graduating class, excepting me, erupted with sustained applause and whoops of joy. So in shameless pursuit of the reception that Windsor Viney received 41 years ago, I will be brief. Here then is my advice for a useful post-Gonzaga life that might possibly make you happy. First, probably the most important of my rules, don't stay to home. My father always told me to stay to home. He was a good and decent man, and his hard work as a construction welder paid for my college education. But he was dead wrong. Nearly all of my working life, I found happiness by living and working several thousand miles away from my parents. A corollary to this rule is be willing to disrupt your life. Get out of bed, get out of the house, get out of your rut, all of your life, and do it as much as is humanly possible. As the great philosopher Woody Allen said, 80% of success is showing up. My second rule is kind of stupid given how many of you are already mothers, but I'll use it anyhow. Second, don't get married in a fever. Sometimes it works, but the odds are against you Take your time, choose wisely, beauty fades, character lasts, and you probably have all followed that rule already. Third, do get married and have kids. Sometimes it works. Oh, sorry. Do get married and have kids, unless... I could use every laugh I can get. Do get married and have kids. I say this as a ridiculously peripatetic father who became a father at age 50. And I realized I waited too long to settle down and find real meaning in life. And once you do have kids, stay to home. Better yet, take the kids with you on your adventures. Also consider moving closer to your parents so they can help you take care of them. It will make you happy and lighten your load. This advice, of course, completely contradicts my first rule about getting away from your parents. Fortunately, I am not being graded on this speech. Fourth, life is not a competition with your friends. It's a very important rule. Don't waste your time begrudging their success, because many of them will be much more successful than you. Work on friendships at least as hard as you work on your job, your marriage, and your responsibility to your children. And if you happen to be successful at work, don't confuse the importance of what you do with the importance of who you are. Fifth, admit your mistakes and correct them publicly and fully. This is crucial advice when you're just starting a career. It is even more crucial when you're older and supposedly wiser. Everyone screws up. I certainly have. Own up to it and move on. Sixth, and the last one, if you happen to become rich, and I hope you do, don't segregate yourself and your family from less rich people. Don't allow yourself to think they are morally inferior. If you happen to become a Republican, don't avoid Democrats. Don't allow yourself to think they are morally inferior. And of course, vice versa. The distance between the rich and the poor in the United States is now greater than it ever has been in my lifetime. So is the contempt of Democrats and Republicans for each other. Try very hard not to make these problems worse. Those who disagree with your politics are not stupid, and they're not evil. Those who are poor are not shiftless and lazy. The teachings of Jesus are very helpful in these matters. Read them. Keep them in mind when you vote or when you drink and pontificate at dinner parties. By now, of course, I have gone on much longer than Windsor Viney did 4 years ago. He was also much funnier. Nevertheless, I have one last blast of advice. Don't lose the disciplined habits I hope you acquired at Gonzaga. Read widely, read deeply, pay attention to science, change your mind, and change your behavior as evidence warrants. For example, as the planet warms up and threatens the survival of us all, work hard to be part of the solution. Finally, and most importantly, forgive yourself for all the mistakes you are about to make. And thank you for listening to a speech that I have been itching to deliver since 1974.
Thank you, Dr. Harden. Each year, we ask one of our graduates to speak to the commencement audience. This year's graduate student speaker is Suzanne Burdick. She is receiving her Master of Arts in Communication and Leadership degree at this ceremony. Suzanne's studies have included conducting research on women's satisfaction with their own bodies. She was recently hired to teach in the Communication Studies Department at Portland Community College. Please welcome our student speaker, Suzanne Burdick.
Thank you, Dr. Killen. It is my privilege and pleasure to stand here with you all on this day of joy. Joy in our accomplishment, joy of witnessing our loved ones, joy of participating in the life of this wonderful university. Today is a day of tremendous personal joy for me because I was terrified of doing graduate school. I am a recovering perfectionist. And after graduating college, I spent the next 6 years basically taking a break from my regular mode of external achievement. And yes, I worked a job that I enjoyed, but more importantly perhaps, I did a ton of inner work. And I got in touch with what Carl Jung talked about as the archetypal feminine aspect of this glorious human experience. As much as I wanted a master's degree in order to enter new professional arenas and to expand my knowledge, I was terrified that if I stepped back into academia, I would drink the Kool-Aid of the archetypal masculine and forget my feminine and lose this cherished connection to my deep self. So I stand before you in joy because who knew that you could have both? Who knew that I could both be my vulnerable, authentic self and succeed in the external world? And I enjoy that full, non-dualistic expression because I chose to attend a school like Gonzaga, a school that lives out the bold claim that the head and the heart belong together in education, and a school that thus has as its mission to, yes, expect and model excellence in academic and professional pursuits, but also to develop the whole person intellectually, spiritually, physically, and emotionally. So even though I was delighted to join the Gonzaga community and getting my master's, it wasn't easy. Grad school, as you all know, is never easy, no matter where or how you do it. So my fellow graduates, I want to say, we did it! All of our stories are different. Perhaps you dove into graduate school just after completing your undergrad. Perhaps, like me, you were working full-time when you decided to go back to school. But we all know the dedication and passion it took to get us here today. And we did not do it alone. So thank you to the families, the friends, faculty, coworkers. Thank you for your support and your belief that contributed to our success today. In that way, this celebration is a communal celebration of all of us. My fellow graduates, as we walk across the stage, we are entering a privileged select group of people who have attained advanced academic degrees. Our earning capabilities have increased, yay, and we are now beholden to a higher level of responsibility. May we use our skill and our passion in service for the betterment of all, be we nurses or accountants, teachers or engineers, religious ministers or business leaders. And finally, for all of us here today, it is my hope that we continue to live out the Gonzaga motto and be inspired to sacrifice not our head nor our heart in the pursuit of our goals, but use both, creating a joyful synergy of masculine and feminine energy that rocks our world. Thank you so much.
And now to the moment for which you have all been waiting, the conferral of degrees. The academic deans will assist President McCullough in the conferral. After the respective deans have handed the candidate a diploma, President McCullough will greet the graduates at the base of the stage. As the graduates prepare to cross the stage, let me introduce the academic deans who will be assisting the president. I would ask them please to stand and remain standing till all are introduced. Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Elizabeth Merman-Joswick. Interim Dean of the School of Business, Dr. Ken Anderson. Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Vincent Alfonso. Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Science, Dr. Stephen Silliman. Dean of the School of Nursing and Human Physiology, Dr. Brenda Stevenson Marshall. Acting Dean of the School of Professional Studies, Dr. Joseph Albert. And Assistant Academic Vice President for the Center for Global Engagement, Dr. Joseph Kinsella. Thank you to the deans for their dedication to academic excellence and to our students' success. We will begin with the conferral of doctoral degrees. Please hold your applause until all doctoral candidates have been presented. Dissertation chairs or a designate will assist in the hooding of students receiving a PhD in leadership studies on the north side of the stage to my left. Will Acting Dean of the School of Professional Studies, Dr. Joseph Albert, and the Chair of the Doctoral Program in Leadership Studies, Dr. Joanne Barber, please come forward. Doctoral project advisors will assist in hooding the candidates for the Doctor of Nursing practice degree on the south side of the stage to my right. Will Dean of the School of Nursing and Human Physiology, Dr. Brenda Stevenson Marshall, and the Chair of the Nursing Department, Dr. Jeffrey Ramirez, please come forward.
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present candidates for the degree Doctor of Philosophy in Leadership Studies.
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present the candidates for the degree Doctor of Nursing Practice.
Elizabeth Kierulf Armstrong, with dissertation chair Chris Frankovich.
Melissa Dawn Hudson, with faculty advisor Neva Krogan.
Sharon K. Kanda, with dissertation chair Shan Furch.
Alina Lazo, with faculty advisor Lynn Murphy.
R. Scott Francis, with dissertation chair Chris Frankovich.
Shirley Dawn Melissa McGee, with faculty advisor Deborah Smith. Joanne M. Moore, with faculty advisor Jane Teard.
Alan Edward Patty, with Shan Furch on behalf of the dissertation chair.
Melanie Ann Nash, with faculty advisor Nancy Beckham.
Nathaniel G. Pearson, with Shan Furch on behalf of the dissertation chair.
Stephanie Sue Nesser, with faculty advisor Jane Teert.
Sarah Y. Piper Hall, with Shan Furch on behalf of the dissertation chair.
Megan Patricia Solwish, with faculty advisor Nancy Beckham. This concludes the conferring of the Doctor of Nurse Practice degrees in the School of Nursing and Human Physiology.
Continuing on the north side of stage with Doctor of Philosophy and Leadership Studies, Rebecca Page Rogers, with dissertation chair Shan Furch. Dune Q. Tran, with dissertation chair Shan Furch. Congratulations. Fugen Tulgar, with dissertation chair Chris Frankovich. Faith Valenti, with Shan Furch on behalf of the dissertation chair. Faith is the wife of Scott Bosman, a faculty member of the university, who will join President McCullough to greet the graduate. Enoch K. Wong, with dissertation chair Chris Frankovich. And this concludes the conferring of the Doctor of Philosophy degrees in the School of Professional Studies.
We now move to the conferral of master's degrees. Presenting on the north side of the stage to my left are the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Business, the School of Education, the School of Engineering and Applied Science, and the Center for Global Engagement. Will Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Elizabeth Merman-Joswick, please come forward.
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present the candidates for the College of Arts and Sciences.
Presenting on the south side to my right are the School of Nursing and Human Physiology and the School of Professional Studies. Will Dr. Brenda Stevenson Marshall please come forward again?
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present the candidates for the degree Master of Science in Nursing.
The following student is receiving a Master of Arts in Philosophy degree. Sister Mary Eucharista, SMMC. This also concludes the conferring of degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences.
The following students are receiving a Master of Science in Nursing degree. Janice Ann Aguinaldo.
The following students are receiving a Master of Accountancy degree. Kiara Bishop.
Carolyn J. Allen, Master of Science in Nursing.
Peter Michael Bly.
Elizabeth Aquino.
Nathan Michael Brasheko.
Ashley N. Earhart.
Chloe Christine Brown.
Renee M. Baird.
Stephen Michael Bucher.
Linda Barnes.
Yvette Canales.
Aaron T. Bass.
Patricia Lauren Collins.
Tiffany Ann Bass.
Samuel Charles Crosby.
Jennifer Marie Bytel.
Michael James Curtis.
Joy Munar Belen.
Cooper Riley Erlinson.
Jeffrey W. Benson.
Nicole C.J. Fugel.
Amy Elizabeth Berg.
Tanner Paul Hernandez.
Ashley Tyne Blatchley.
Eric David Jarvie.
Crystal D. Boyce.
Andrew L. Jenkins.
Linda Sue Brotke.
Isaac Mitchell Johnson.
Jenny L. Brumfield Johnson.
Jared Scott Lee.
Kimberly Sue Butler.
Yao Lu.
Susan Jockett Butler.
Austin Todd Mall.
Sarah A. Carver.
Grant Thomas McNamara.
Michelle Lee Chid.
Christopher James Orndorff.
Janice Elizabeth Cody.
Emily Raquel Rodriguez.
Chelsea D. Dahlman.
Gianni Michael Santucci.
Julie Beth DiCaro.
Seth Newton Strong.
Kimberly Allison DeMark.
Samantha Marie Teal.
Asia A. Dina.
Neil James Urbaniak.
Leanne Drake.
Sunny Pierre Wang.
Nicole M. Fisher.
Wei-Ling Wang.
Deborah K. Jono.
Felicia A. Ankton.
Jamie L. Goretta.
John E. Berg.
Erin Elizabeth Grady.
Stephen James Boda.
Jessica Lynn Grogan.
Joshua Robert Butts.
Celestina Garul.
J. Graham Cadwell.
Catherine L. Hawley.
Stacy K. Destito.
Rosemarie Haydock.
Damian Ishan C. Dilly.
Catherine Rachel Haynes.
Julian Michael Dominguez.
Christine Elizabeth Jensen.
Brian Jordan Duke.
Christina M. Jefferson.
Aaron Matthew Grenz.
Angela L. Johnson.
Kara Whitney Heatherly.
Ben Joseph.
Sean Michelle Hennessy.
Kuldeep Kaur.
Mayank Mahajan.
Michael Kohler.
Maxwell Victor Mayberger.
Karen Kraft.
Abdul Tamim Majid, who is also receiving a Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership degree.
Melissa S. Kuntz.
Nathan Mark Maniter.
Patricia Marianne Kuratek.
Zoanna Aileen Mayhook.
Andrea Louisel.
Catherine Marie McCalden.
Rachel Lundquist.
Eric D. Pemberton.
Jessica A. Luther.
Myra Ibeth Rodriguez.
Danielle Marlene Lutz.
Gregory Glenn Safadigo.
Matthew Thomas Maxwell.
Darren Scott Tintle.
Sheila K. McGowan Connolly.
Rosangela Jean Whalen.
Yvonne Marie McLemore.
The following students are receiving a Master of Business Administration and Healthcare Management degree. Klain Josiah Victor Hansen.
Stephanie A. McVeigh.
Cassandra Lynn Hurley.
Holly R. Minnick Bishop.
Lisa R. Richardson.
Hillary Rose Mitchell.
Keely Legore Spielman.
Julia R. Morris.
Winona Natasha Vaz. And this concludes the conferring of degrees in the School of Business Administration.
Will Dean of the School of Education, Dr. Vincent Alfonso, please come forward?
Julie.
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present candidates for the School of Education.
The following students are receiving a Master of Anesthesiology Education degree. Tobias D. Johnson.
Julie Ann Mosley.
Sujin K. Kunugiyama.
Shanna Elizabeth Mosier.
Brian Y. Lee.
Veronica Navarro.
Christopher Asa Locklear Lundy.
Samantha R. O'Neill.
Ton T. Pham.
Kim L. Orchard.
Chelsea Ray Posenjak.
Michael Kabag Pahang.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in Clinical Mental Health Counseling degree. Matthew Vincent Albert. Matthew is the son of Joe Albert, a faculty member of the university, who will greet the graduate on stage.
Pamela L. Perry.
Danielle Nicole Bergeson.
Roberta A. M. Plunkett.
Eleanor Jeanette Boatman.
Megan Prowsey.
Brittany Marie Carden.
Carmen H. Radford.
Janine L. Carolus.
Brenda K. Rentala.
Rhonda M. Del Carlo.
Colette L. Riley.
Renee Carlene Howells.
Andrea Maureen Roberts.
Kelly Lynn Hughes.
Teresa R. Robinson.
Sarah Elisa Kopp.
Susan Lee Rossetti.
Murphy Chantel Moore.
Stacy Marie Rush.
Lori Ann Napier.
Morgan Lee Ryan.
Taryn Imani Poindexter.
Penny Ann Sather.
Molly Marie Pritikin.
Liliana Cecilia Marcia Simmons.
Kelsey Faye Rugo.
Bridget Danielle Sims.
Carrie L. Sheldon.
Cheryl A. Smith.
Katie Ann Wofstedt Solin.
Susan E. Stedman.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in Marriage and Family Counseling degree. Christina Allen.
Sarah A. Stewart.
Carrie Michelle Kroll Longman.
Calvin Thomas.
Alora Devon Eggleston.
Amber M. Toomey.
Aaron James Gonzalez.
Michael P. Trimko.
Rihanna Kathleen Cayley.
Heather E. Vatanki.
Marin Meisen Veers.
Kelly S. Visick.
Danielle Ray Porter.
Jenna Marie Waiton.
Jocelyn Michelle Rebar.
Karen Lynette Walker.
Sean Michael Turner.
Nicole Catherine Weber.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in School Counseling degree. Justine Aline Brown.
Zarima Almazan Whiting.
Leah R. Chamberlain.
Connie M. Wilson.
Esther M. Covarrubias.
Lori Ann Wyrick.
Michael.
This concludes the conferring of degrees in the School of Nursing and Human Physiology.
Will Acting Dean Joseph Albert of the School of Professional Studies please come forward again?
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present candidates for the School of Professional Studies.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in Communication and Leadership Studies degree. Larry Anthony Alva.
Continuing on the north side of stage, receiving Master of Arts in School Counseling, Michael Schaefer Dunn.
Katie Ann Albing. Brianna May.
Christina D. Gruntmans.
May Brianna May Badilli.
Caitlin R. Harrington.
J. Arlen Bates.
Leah Frakes Lorimer.
Becerra. Joey Becerra.
Herman Frederick Riddell III.
Lisa Becker.
Jessica Lynn Suttle.
Bradison. Dominique Bradison.
Alexis O'Brien Spees.
Shannon Cartier.
Christine Michelle Sparule.
Brent Champaco. Esmeralda Chapa. Esmeralda Chapa.
The following student is receiving a Master of Arts in Sport and Athletic Administration degree. Kendall Lorraine Anderson.
Elizabeth Ann Collins.
Madeline Ann Bell.
Susan C. Dans.
Michael Patrick Dunn.
Armando Javier Davila. Armando Javier Davile.
Adam James Esselman.
Celeste Monique Eubanks.
Saram Bewanyo.
Jeffrey Allen Garrison.
Zachary Sean Hewlett.
Diana Marie Gearheiser.
Edwin Rafael Martinez.
Suzanne Michelle Burdick.
Perry Anthony Martinez.
Leland Ronald Gilbert.
Kelly Thomas McCandless.
Jordan Marie Julio.
Philip Morelli.
Linda K. Gorman.
Matthew S. Murray.
Victoria Jane Hanson.
Philip John Daniel Noyes.
Jeremiah T. Harrison.
Sarah Frances Portman.
Ken Heidel.
Corey Emmy Sakamoto.
Shelley A. Hepler.
Lucas John Schwind.
Emily Hernandez.
The following students are receiving a Master of Counseling degree. Robin Margaret Bogue.
Gretchen Elizabeth Hormel.
Stacy Rayanne Brown.
Tamira J.S. Hauser.
Allison Joanna Copeland Butt.
Deborah Lynn Hunter.
Janelle R. Goward.
James Thomas Jark.
Mary Helen Graydon.
Jerome A. Johnson.
David Jeffrey Hansen.
Michelle Jeanette Carnes.
Valerie J. Harbor.
Melissa Joan Laramie.
Dana Christina Volrath. Crystal Rose Zazabita.
Jessica Eileen Luthold.
The following students are receiving a Master of Education in Leadership and Administration degree. Michelle R. Apps.
Amanda Marie Wong.
Jordana Joy Beatty.
Christopher Blake Mabry.
Kim Marla Bishop Frazier.
Mimic. Christian Edmund Mimic.
Sandy M. Blackheer.
Stephen Anthony Miller.
Amanda J. Brennan.
Catherine Bartle Nolte.
Gustav Michael Buzinius.
Brenda Ann Palmer.
Marie Christine Cameron.
Jamie Perkins.
Rose Maria Caputo.
R. Benjamin Pingle.
Aaron E. Dom.
Agnes Poliquin.
Daniel Jason Davies.
Demetrius Ukino Prado.
Lisa Amy DeJardin.
Heidi Marie Prismich.
Amanda D. Gergen.
John Paul P. Ricento.
Kyle Robert Goy.
Alexandria Nicole Reeves.
Sarah Hogan.
Adrian E. Reyes.
Kevin L. Hooper.
Ryan Rivas.
Teresa G. Hooper.
Richard John Rock.
Laura Elizabeth Horton.
Heather Ann Schmidt.
Aaron Holdsworth.
Lindsay Christine Sherbert.
Jody E. Hughes.
Jessica Lorraine Silva.
Ziba Ibrahimova.
Bridget Sitzer.
Nicole Irwin.
Melanie Brooke Pennell Steele.
Dara Johnson.
Mark Earl Stevens.
Jason C. Johnson.
Stringham. Kathleen Mary Stringham.
Wesley A. Lazarus.
Vanover. Sean Aaron Vanover.
Ashley Marie Leverrier.
Candace Bertie Ward Ferris.
Jody Nicole Michelle Lightfoot.
Tamika Bowser Wright.
Pamela DJ Lovett. Allison Megan McMillan.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership Studies degree. Jason Todd Allman.
Kristen E. McCauley.
Rosa Alvarado.
Luke Andrew McIver.
Meredith Ann Aronson.
Darcy Lee McNee.
Marianne Bartlett. Marianne is the partner of Patsy Fowler, a faculty member of the university who will join President McCullough to greet the graduate.
Jason A. Nashi.
Ronald Earl Bateman.
Michelle L. Newman.
Janet Catherine Beck.
Casey Ann Nye.
Brandon Bean.
Maureen Irene Plute.
John Butler Jr.
Kelsey Lynn Posabon.
Randall Ross Booth.
Emily Marie Rivard.
Michelle Elise Bornfleth.
Danny L. Rawl.
Christopher Terrence James Burrows.
Kelly D. Slaughter.
Christine Callison.
Michaela Ann Swan.
Catherine Elizabeth Reginato Cascamo.
The following students are receiving a Master of Education in Special Education degree. Haley Babin.
Continuing on the south side with a Master of Arts in Organization Leadership, Ini Chen.
Megan Marie Baker.
Stephen John Cole. Stephen John Cole.
Haley Renee Carnes.
Catherine Cronin.
Jessica Lee Dempsey.
Adam Benjamin Cross.
The following student is receiving a Master of Education School Administration degree. Basha Bailey.
Continuing on the south side with Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership, Rita Miranda Davis.
Kelly Ray Borger.
Kyle Patrick England.
Jennifer Campbell.
Larry David Ensminger.
Julie A. Dutka.
Maggie Farrington.
Sherry Ann Gustafson.
John Mark Fisher.
Kieran Hunt.
Amy J. Ford.
Michelle Catherine Froelich.
Lisa Joyce Jensen.
Michelle Catherine Froelich.
Lisa Marie D. Coltonback.
Kathleen Clifford Fuston.
Mary Ellen Kemp.
William A. George.
Elisa Christine Corver.
Jessica M. Godders.
Rachel Carey McDonald.
Vinus Christopher Harrington.
Sandra May Martin.
Dustin Eugene Hibbard.
Sheila Marie McCracken.
Lynn P. Hogan.
McAvoy. Jamie Lynn McAvoy.
Casey Schaefer Jackson.
Eve K. Morrow.
Kelly Jo Kagaris.
Sherry L. Opus.
Edward Nathaniel Kit Pride.
Dawn M. Poole.
Brian Patrick Kenner.
Brooke Elaine Riley.
Atchara Knapp.
Lorianne Salmon.
Jenna Ann LaPierre.
Allison Joy Stewart.
William Brian LeBouy.
Shannon Lee Thompson.
Christopher Richard Mason.
Adam Franklin Topp.
Christopher Allen Matlock.
Janie Elaine Wooldridge.
Laura Jean Matson.
Melanie Alexis Young.
David Joseph Mall.
John Joseph McCarthy.
The following students are receiving a Master of Initial Teaching degree. Mona Abdul-Ghaffar Ali.
Continuing in organizational leadership, John Joseph McCarthy.
Jessica Erin Calkins.
Monica Mel.
Mallory Virginia Coco.
Chrislyn Maria.
Paul Leo Coco.
Julie Annette Mills.
Henry Alonzo Harper.
Brian Scott Monagold.
Rachel Marie Hollenbeck.
Deborah Lee Mucho.
Catherine Jean Hoot.
Robert Mullen.
Kelly Lynn Kofsted.
Anthony Joel Nash.
Thomas James McGriff.
Nicholas Raymond Obradovich.
Joffrey Eric Melder.
Maria O'Neill.
Maureen Elizabeth Terry.
Daniel Opong.
The following student is receiving a Master of Initial Teaching Special Education degree. Jessica Teresa Fox Lopp.
Pablo.
This concludes the conferring of degrees in the School of Education.
Do it. Yeah. Will Debbie and Patrick Miura please come forward? Tammy Miura battled cancer most of her life, fueled by gusto, a unique humor, and the love and care of her family, who are with us today. While Tammy did not stay with us long enough to realize her professional goal of helping children cope with illness, she has inspired our students and community with a deep respect for the fragile nature of life and the resiliency necessary for navigating it. I am pleased to present Tammy's parents a posthumous award of an honorary Master of Arts in Clinical Mental Health Counseling degree.
Will Dean of the School of Engineering and Applied Science, Dr. Stephen Silliman, please come forward?
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I am pleased to present candidates for master's degrees in the School of Engineering and Applied Science.
The following students are receiving a Master of Engineering, Transmission and Distribution Engineering degree. Ryan Adams.
Continuing on the south side of the stage with a Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership, Pablo Ornelas Ruiz.
Kasahun A. Aschenaki.
James M. Picanso, Jr.
Nicholas Michael Colson.
Andrea W. Pike.
Alan James Johnson.
Justin Allen Pylant.
Charles Neal Prentice. This concludes the conferring of degrees in the School of Engineering and Applied Science.
Will Dr. Joseph Kinsella, Assistant Academic Vice President for Global Engagement, please come forward?
By the authority vested in Gonzaga University by the state of Washington, I'm very pleased to present the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching English as a Second Language.
The following students are receiving a Master of Arts in Teaching English as a Second Language degree. Abdul Mulsan Ibrahim Abduwahi.
Continuing on the south side of stage in organizational leadership, Jack Klaus.
Salah Ahmed Al-Azrani.
Mark Stephen Ramos.
Hoitzin Chan Beatty.
Tiffany Ann Roberts Efros.
Brittany Ariel Dorch.
Carlo Aram Romero.
Angela Marie Forwood.
Robert Ross.
Sultan Ali Hiba.
Melanie Rudnick.
Beatrice Jean Hirsch Tudor.
Alan C. Sackett.
The following student is receiving a Master of Arts in Teaching English as a Second Language Peace Corps degree. Stephanie Nicole Kalawe. This concludes the conferring of degrees in the Center for Global Engagement.
Continuing in organizational leadership, Erlene Skin. Nika Marie Someday. Catherine Springer. Mary Stafford. Louise Barbara Sullivan. Eileen D. Swalling. Teresa May Thompson. Brad Christian Thorsted. Jeannie L. Thrush. Catherine Anna Uminski. Brian Robert Vandenberg. Josephine Nafuna Wafula. Kelsey Elizabeth Wesley. Ryan Whitaker. Ronald Wu. This concludes the conferring of degrees in the School of Professional Studies.
This concludes our conferral of master's degrees. I now ask that all of the recipients please rise. Move your tassels to the left. And I invite you, the graduates, to give a round of applause to the faculty who have guided you and the family and friends who have supported you as you pursued this degree. Please be seated. On behalf of Gonzaga University, I want to express gratitude to Dr. Blaine Harden for delivering the commencement address, and to our student speaker, Suzanne Burdick, for representing her class with her words. Thanks also to our ceremony readers, Natalie Palmer, Linda Caralfa, and Jenny Graham, and to all of those who have helped to make this ceremony possible. Today is the day that, together with your family and friends, we honor you, our graduates, and what you have accomplished. As we send you off, it is our hope that each of you will continue to search for truth and embrace all the challenges of life with open minds, open hearts, and a courageous spirit. President McCullough, honored guests, faculty, academic deans, it is my pleasure to present to you the graduating class of 2015. Congratulations. Sister Laura Michaels of University Ministry will now give the benediction.
This is the season when Alleluia is the joyful acclamation of women and men of faith. Faithful God, bless our graduates as they face new directions and travel new roads. May they know that you are their constant guide today and always. And with joy we acclaim, Alleluia, Alleluia.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Sister Laura. I invite all of you graduates and your families and friends to join in a social on the South Lawn outside of this facility immediately following the ceremony. This concludes the university's 122nd commencement ceremony.